Today's video, we are going to talk about chatbot automation. Using chatbots to automate the live chat engagement you will have with people on your website to generate more sales from the website traffic you have that is currently being driven at your website or soon to be generated at if you, for instance, haven't launched your website or launched your advertising campaign to go along with it. So the reason why I make this video, actually it's a follow-up video that I've talked about using chatbots before, where I say chatbots basically suck because when you compare doing manual through a human, no automation, chat salesperson talking through chat to an individual user versus chatbots, using purely automation, chatbot automation, or just using chatbots to talk to people on your website in order to get them to buy, that comparison and results you're going to get is nowhere close to as good. And if you have any kind of reasonable traffic on your site, you should be using humans because it converts so much better. But there is a middle ground where you can use a little bit of automation that will actually help you drastically increase conversions. It actually is the best of both worlds if you go ahead and set it up. So don't be lazy, and if you're going to use chatbots, to set it up the right way, because most people that are trying to use chatbots, frankly, the reason why they don't work is because they completely half-ass them. They don't train the chatbot, in which if you want to completely automate your chats and have it actually increase your conversions more than what you had when you started with no chatbot, you got to spend some serious time on that. And if you don't, just don't do a chatbot at all, because it literally will hurt your conversions. It hurts your trust. It makes you seem like you don't give a shit about your customers, ultimately, using a damn chatbot. It's the same thing when you call up your bank, Chase Bank, and you're trying to get through to somebody, and they put you through an automated system. That pisses you off, does it not? So why are you doing that to your damn customers? Don't do that. But where chatbots do come in is when you can make a chatbot seem like a human, which is what I'm going to talk to you about in today's video specifically. With that, you can actually use it to increase your conversion successfully, so you aren't wasting your time and using chatbots in a half-ass way that's basically only going to hurt you. So with that said, getting into the content here, chatbots, obviously people use chatbots, A, because they want to save time, their own time, or B, they don't want to pay, they're too cheap to pay a salesperson, frankly, or don't want to pay a salesman, and maybe they can, but they don't want to. And so what they'll do ultimately is free up time in exchange for dropping their conversions, because if they had a real human dealing with that person, they'd get the most conversions. But they use a chatbot, so the exchange is I'll take some of my conversions and drop them in exchange of not having to have a human anymore talk to people through the live chat, or presumably chat with the people on live chat and not have to talk to them on the phone, which is even more dumb, because chat is, some people want to chat, some people want to talk on the phone, and if you're expecting people to go through chat that won't like talking on the phone, they're just not going to buy from you. So what I'm saying here is, do not make this sacrifice. Don't throw away a bunch of your sales just to save a little bit of time or save your salesperson's cost. I get why people want to use chatbots when they're just starting out, they don't have a lot of traffic, and for some reason they can't answer the chats themselves because the salesperson doesn't have, there's not enough chat activity to justify the cost of the salesperson. I get that. But like I've said in other videos, if that's you and you don't take the advice I'm going to give you here in the next part of the video, you answer the damn chats yourself, just like you answer the damn phone yourself. If you want to set up a website where you don't have to deal with anybody and it just makes money so you can sit on a damn beach somewhere and make money, you're going to end up wasting your time pissing all your money away. I'm telling you from experience. The only way you get away with something like that for the most part is if you have something that nobody else can offer and it's highly in demand, or you're a huge company, people automatically trust you even if they talk to nobody at your company. That's probably not you. So you only have one. If you want to really make this business work, you've got to actually talk to people. That is actually your edge, because anybody can go to Amazon and buy your shit, or or whatnot there. Or if we're talking about services, that's obviously doesn't apply to that. But if they wanted to talk to nobody, They didn't care about talking to anybody before they buy. They just go to Amazon. It's cheaper, it's better, it's more trusted, it's less likely to be screwed up, probably faster to get my stuff. Your edge, and at least when you're talking about e-commerce, is the fact that you have expert advice on tap for people and that you're actually going to deal with people. That is all you need to be able to make e-commerce work. Just be better at sales than anybody else in your space, because most people aren't very good at it. When you're talking about a service company, it's actually the same thing. You go ahead and call up all the other competitors you have. Probably you're going to get an airhead answering the phone that don't know jack shit about what you do 80-90% of the time. Just be the 10% that lets you talk to a knowledgeable person either right away or on the meeting, if you will. Anyway, so don't make this sacrifice for drop-in conversions to not have to talk to people through the live chat. The best way, but you don't have to just use manual chat to get the sales though. You can do a hybrid model that we use all the time now, which is you implement a chatbot on your website, but that chatbot is only to start the initial part of the chat. If you think about it, going back to the bank example, that's how big corporations are kind of doing things. Chat isn't to take over the whole conversation. It's just meant to get that person to do the easy initial parts. But they still screwed up because you're dealing with a robot for the most part up front. You can use chat automation to take on the initial brunt of the questions that are asked, and then once you've got that person into chat mode already, that's the time a human can take over. And what it ultimately does is it gets the maximum amount of people willing to chat with you. Because the problem that I've had with live chat, or using chatbots to do live chat on a website for the longest time, and what I talked about on my other video was, people that as soon as they see that it's a chatbot, they're going to say, fuck this, close it out, I'm not talking to a damn robot. They don't want to talk to a chatbot. They don't. So don't waste your time with it for the most part. Unless they basically, they have to deal with you and only you, and then they'll put up with it. So with that, what you do is if you're using a chatbot, first of all, you don't make it clear that it's a chatbot. That would be like really idiotic, because you're just advertising, you don't give a shit about your customers. And second of all, you get the chatbot automation good enough, either do it all the way or nothing like I was saying before, but you do it well enough that you don't even know you're talking to a chatbot. And for the most part, with most of the savviness that most of you guys have and the resources that you have, you're not going to be able to fool a person that they talk to a human all the way through a conversation. It's too fucking hard. What you got to do, what you can do, should I say, to get the advantage out of a bot is to take on the first 1 to 3 engagements with that person and then take it over from there. A human can take it over, which A, gives the person that would take the chat over time to respond, and B, make sure the person you're talking to is a serious candidate for a purchase. So if you're, in other words, your revenue per chat, in terms of having to spend time on a chat, or revenue per minute spending on live chat and so on, will be much, much higher once you are talking to somebody who is willing to go back and forth at least 3 times with a chatbot already. So what you want to do with the live chat, just like you should with your phone sales process, a lot of people just wing this shit. And it's a recipe to get half or less of the sales you can get. When somebody calls up, you got to have, just like when they call, you should have a game plan of how you take that person through a sale on the phone. Even if you have an e-commerce site and the questions are random, you have a structured process. The chat should be the same way. Once you got a process that maximizes engagement, and part of that, it should be, how do I get the most people chatting? Then on top of that, of course, you should already think out, once they're chatting, how do I get that person, instead of just answering the questions and then saying, okay, bye, and then maybe they buy or maybe they don't, how do you convince them to go through and order at a higher rate? And if you have a structured process, you'll do that at a much higher rate, where you could say, well, have you thought about when you're going to buy this, maybe? And that's like a lead-up question, and then when they say, you can say, oh, great, okay, great. Well, actually, if you buy it today, we'll give you a 10% discount. here's the discount code. It's only good for 24 hours. Go ahead and make it now, get you 10% off. That's another way to get them to buy at a higher rate. We've used that kind of stuff before. So there's a lot of shit you can do to just get more chats. The more chats you get, by the way, the more sales you're going to make per visit to your site, because the longer they stay on your website, the more likely they are going to be able to buy, because it interrupts the process they were potentially going through, which is to go to multiple sites to check, do the research and then buy. Stop them in their tracks, in other words. But if you have a structured approach lined up after that you can optimize, because the thing about having a structured approach is, the beauty of it mostly is you could shape and test and find the most ultimate way, split test it to find the most ultimate way to get a sale once you start chatting with them. So the likelihood that they're going to buy once you have a real process set up of how to handle the chat every time for you or your team to follow, which I recommend coming up with it yourself, document it, and then give it to the person really doing the chat so they can follow it, write it down somewhere. Then you're going to get a purchase at a pretty high rate once you've actually convinced them to go on the chat. The chatbot can get them convinced to get into a chat at a much higher rate than they would otherwise if you use the chatbot automation smartly. That is, you make the chatbot seem like it's a human. Okay? There's quite a few different ways to do that, and it also, like I said, there's a big benefit that, because every time somebody comes to the site, you may not be able to get to it right away. The chatbot can respond in 20 seconds every single time, and so you could test to see if it should show up in 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and all that, and then will be reliable. And then the chatbot will interact with them for like the first 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes. That gives you time for you to respond. So what you do, here's a couple examples of how I use a live chat bot automation to increase our sales that we're getting from our site, as well as save time, instead of just saving time, which is what most people that try to use chatbots are able to achieve. And that is through, like I said before, fooling people that you're dealing with a chatbot. And so that is, the first example I want to talk about is we had a merchant. They sell merchant accounts, so credit card processing. On their website, instead of just saying, hey, can I help you with anything? Which is real dumb. Who gives a shit? I'm not talking to you about what I want, because you're going to try to sell me. And it's probably not, because a lot of people, they realize that live chat, a lot of people don't answer it, so they don't bother responding or even trying to live chat, because it's probably just going to go nowhere. There's nobody actually there on the other side of the live chat, even though it says that they're online. Why? From past experience, people have seen this. So what do? You are going to say, how's the weather in Texas? But Corey, how do you do that? Well, this is really easy with a lot of the live chat programs now. Live Chat Inc. is one that you could specifically use for that, where you can have 50 different live chat automations. So if somebody gets to your website from Texas, you could say, hey, buddy, what's up? What's the weather in Texas like today? Or you could say, hey, buddy, what's the weather like in Texas this time of the year? Or whatever. But we did specifically that for a merchant account company, and the live chats, they wanted live chats like they wanted phone calls. They're just as valuable as, according to them. We got the live chat rate to go up 260% once we instituted this automation technique. For me, I usually don't get involved with the client automating the second and third engagement with the user, which you could do that if you have more time. But what I do tell people is do the initial engagement, or the automation, sorry, because that's the most important one. Why? Because it gets more people to chat. More people chat, more people are going to buy, if you have a good person to take over the conversation once they start chatting. Getting them to actually start chatting is the hard part. So massive, massive difference in chat engagements once you start doing this. If you want to go a bit further here, and you are actually doing this, I recommend what everybody else does. This is when everybody does something in marketing, you do the opposite. Why? Because it's when people seen something over and over again, it doesn't work the same way. Everybody else on their website has the live chat here in the lower right hand corner. That just looks like everybody else's live chat. I'm not impressed by that. Have your live chat take over the screen, big box. Like this is what they used to do back in the 90s. But I don't know why people stopped doing that. Because if you actually do the live chat right, where you could say, hey, I'm a translation expert who understands how to translate anything into from Japanese to English. What do you have to translate? Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can answer your questions. You'll get a super high engagement rate to a chat at that point in time. It's just hard to do because every single person that comes to the site, you have to engage with right away like that. But until today we have the technology to say, if they were initially looking at, or they were on a page about Japanese to English translation, you can actually have it set up that way. And with some chat programs, you can even, based upon the keyword, you could have the live chat change, which there's not very many who do that. Most of the mainstream ones will let you have a different chat based upon what page of the website they're on. So when you do that and you combine it with the fact that it takes over their screen, or they get to the site, they're looking at the testimonials, whatever, and then this gets them to stay on the site. We did this for a hardware seller selling fasteners and stuff like that. And we use something like, I am a, insert the name of the product, Johnson Screws product expert. Just give me an example. What do you plan on using your Johnson screws for? And then this would change based upon what product they were looking at on the site. Which there's a lot of products on the site, so it was a task in order to get this customized based upon the thousands of pages on the site they have. But through a data entry person, it's not that complicated. This got the chat conversions to go up over 400% by just saying the name of the product in the initial chat engagement that pops up. That looks like a human's actually reaching out to you specifically. We didn't do the even that takes over the center part of your screen, which would, I guarantee you, would have gotten the 400% would have been like 600-700% more chats once this whole system was there. Why? Because it looks so much more like a human even yet when it shows up at the center of your screen. So the increase in that case was 412% increase in chats per visit to the website, just to be clear. The 260%, same thing. It's 260% more chats per visit to the web page. For the one where we were saying like, how's the weather in Texas? But this is something anybody can do here. Anybody can do this with the live chat programs that they have and the automation they've built within it. It's up to you whether you're going to get off your lazy behind to put the automation into place, real, legitimate automation that automates something that, because the key with automation is, what you're trying to automate should be whatever is after you've automated it, it's just as good as what the manual thing that you were doing before is. So this initial reach out and engage the conversation is really no different than having a human do it. So there's no drawback. Now there's only upside. Saved me time. Gave me time to respond. And most people can't reach out to every single person like this, so it gets some more chat engagements when they didn't have time to get to every single person who hits the site like that anyway. So this is really, really easy to do. You'll make a lot more revenue per visitor to your website that way. It can be something that really opens up the opportunity for you to scale ads for your business, because there's always a point where your ROI has to be so much on your ad traffic, and then once you hit that, you can't scale your ads anymore without your ROI going down past that minimum threshold you need. This opens things up so you might be able to spend 2 or 3 times as much on traffic as you had before. Of course, it's in and itself isn't going to be an effective tool to help you do that. You got to then follow through with what I said before, having the right person take over the conversation, having the right structured, tested approach that you test. Now, this isn't going to be optimized at first, but you're going to test and find out what's that process where you could take them from A to B once they've responded to your automation here to get the maximum sales revenue you can. And then you have the big result at the end of the day you're looking for in terms of actual dollars and cents. So anyway, that's two real good examples of live chat automation that where you can actually use it to make money, and it does make sense. It helps the user. It doesn't piss them off. It helps you. It's mutually beneficial, and you're going to make more money. So with that said, chatbot automation, that's my take on it, where it can be useful, where it should be used actually, where you should spend the time setting it up, and where obviously where you shouldn't be using it, where most people are using it. So, and obviously it's going to be effective more than likely because nobody in your space that you're in, your niche, is going to be doing this. So obviously you can go look for yourself after this video, go to their websites, and 98% chance nobody's doing anything like this, which is why it's going to be effective. It's going to be different than what the competition has, what people have normally seen, therefore it works. So with that said though, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, I have a ton of other videos on this channel about how to make money with online advertising, which is what this channel is about. It's coming from somebody who runs an ad agency with dozens of clients, and that I do all the ad strategy for all of our clients, so I know everything that's working and not working on a basic level to give you the information on this channel about what to do to make money with your ads, millions of dollars with your ads, building up ads and scaling ads for your business. So if you're going to listen to anybody about that particular topic, this is the information you want to pay attention to, because most people aren't actually doing ad strategy. They're full-time YouTubers and they're talking out their asses when it comes to the information they're giving. So if anything, you're going to subscribe to this channel if that's what you want to do. If you like my channel, you also can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. You can find my written work as well as my written column that I have over at entrepreneur.com. The written work that I have is even better than the video work that I have here as well. There's a lot of visuals involved and so forth. So my blog is at guaranteedppc.com/blog. If you are looking for an ad manager, trying to run ads, haven't been successful at it, gotten to you're plateaued out, whatever, you should reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be more than happy to look over your stuff and see if we can work together. If we do propose working together here with what you're doing to get you more sales, we'll guarantee you get more sales on your campaigns without raising your ad spend, therefore raising your profitability, without taking any kind of a fee up front, unless we can do that for you. We're the only agency out there that does anything like that. It's contingency work, at least initially, on the initial engagement we have with our clients. So the only catches is we got to know we can get great results on your stuff up front. But if you want to see how much results we can get for you, simply reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be more than happy to give you an assessment on what you're doing. As an aside, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency per se, but you do want to shortcut your way to success, you should reach out to us anyway, because we have hundreds of ad templates that work for hundreds of different niche industries. If we've been in your industry before, in a different geographic market, you could simply take everything we've developed for your market and just copy, paste, and apply it to what you're doing in terms of Google ads, Facebook ads, and everything in that niche. And we can tell you what results you can get with it up front, because we obviously already know what those results are from when we used it. So we sell those templates for a one-time fee. You can actually use those templates if you wanted to start another business. If you want to start another business, starting with the ad campaign funnel that works, and it's as easy as it gets. Customers are guaranteed, effectively. You can start, the best passive income business there is starting a business selling leads to other people in a niche. You can use the templates to do that, or you can start an e-commerce business with something that you could easily get from China, and start your e-commerce business if you haven't been in e-commerce yet. We have all kinds of those templates available. We sell them, and we can tell you what results you'll get with it up front. If you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc, but I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.